Welcome to Barrett Counterman's Swaggy Life podcast. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Recently, I had the pleasure of being on my friend JD Ross' podcast. I really hope you listen to what I have to say and what he has to say. I rate it 5 stars perfectly. Leave a review and comments. Here is me and JD Ross talk. Welcome to Barrett Counterman's Swaggy Life podcast. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Recently, I had the pleasure of being on my friend JD Ross' podcast. I really hope you listen to what I have to say and what he has to say. I rate it 5 stars perfectly. Leave a review and comments. Here is me and JD Ross talk.
Welcome to another episode of the Soul Minded Business Podcast. This is the host, JD Ross. And I got to tell you, Barrett, I'm a little bit nervous about this one, man. I am interviewing a public speaker, a professional public speaker, which I am not. And you are.
Yeah.
So I guess more is I'm like a professional listener, and you're the public speaker. So I got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous right now. So let's go, huh? But I'm going to let you do the introduction. But what I want to say to people that are watching this, and if you know this, you've been on here before. You can see it on the YouTube channel at circleofpanda.com. So if you're listening to the podcast outlets and you just hear the audio, you can also see the video on there, as well as some places at the end that we're going to mention where Barrett posts them as well. So you're going to see a nice blend of where you can find these videos. But I will say here, Bear and I have had an opportunity to chat before, and because of an error that I made, we are redoing it. So I have had the luxury of having a conversation already. And this is a conversation that it's been impossible for me to forget because it is an inspiration, man. So I can't wait to hear that. So Barrett, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, man, because again, you are the professional and I am the listener, so go for it.
Well, hi, my name is Barrett Counterman. What started my public speaking business was actually Boys Day. And Boys Day, they teach young high school students about politics and, all the politics stuff, not just what goes into it, but like how to work the media, how to do all the campaigning, promoting your own self and all that stuff. And the reason I started my public speaking was a big part of Boys Day, but it was also a big part of Victory Junction. And Victory Junction is a campus for people like me with disabilities. And they have it on a week-to-week basis. So 1 week they have cerebral palsy, which is my condition. 1 week they might have cancer. 1 week they might have scoliosis. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but those who have the condition are listening. Yeah, so that's where my Barrett Swaggy life came from. And that's what started my public speaking business.
Okay, so now you're president. Now you were just elected, or a couple of years ago, president of something. So you got to mention that. He's also, by the way, very humble. If you've noticed, he didn't even mention. He was waiting on me. So you got to share that. You just voted president of something. What was it?
Well, it's actually called governor.
Governor. Excuse me, governor.
Yeah, governor of Boise State. I was elected out of 100 and something. I think 28 boys, 138 boys, but almost 200 boys, 200 men elected me governor. And like, what many people don't know is when I was elected governor, I I can't write my notes down. Obviously, I'll see that I can't like move my arms like everybody else. And for those that are listening, my right arm's like my, you know, Scorpio side, cause it looks like a snake sometimes, but it also looks like a Scorpio. But my left side is more functional, so I can write my notes down. I had to go through all the speaking things just out of my head, and just doing my pure heart, and all that stuff. So people don't realize like this was fast paced too. Like technically for a normal person, they had 20 minutes to write down what they would say, and then they would just read what they wanted to tell the audience. But for me, I had to spend a lot of time doing the audio to make sure my voice was heard. So I didn't have a lot of time to have somebody write down my speeches. So what I mainly had to do was just go off my head and trust God, and look what happened. And there's actually an interesting story that goes into this, and I'll go into that now. Before I was in Boise and all that stuff, I was a part of student council, and I was one of the office members. If y'all are not part of student council, it comes with your high school grades, and you gotta have like a certain GPA. And luckily, I graduated with the top 20 in my class. Like I was number 20, so I was pretty happy with that. And I got my high school diploma. I didn't get a certificate like most people with disabilities or misconceptions for. But yeah, I didn't get a certificate. I worked hard to get my high school diploma. And but anyways, when I was part of National Honor Society, they didn't include me in anything, like nothing. I was the last one to know the meetings. I would rush up and go to the meetings, and it would be over. And I would get so mad because I would have to skip part of my lunch to go to the meetings and figure out when I'm going to eat another time. So it was definitely defeating. And here's proof that I talk about this, because if you type in Boise, my name, Barrett Counterman, you will find, if you type it in on Google, you will find the speech when I was elected governor. And you will find me talk about the student council and all that stuff. So I'm not going to go into that now, but what I'm going to go into is the public speaking side of things.
Yes. Can I ask a question first before I forget it?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that when you were elected governor, pardon me for saying president, governor's bigger than president, but
well, it is president of Boise, so I kind of see where you're coming from.
Awesome. But you said something about giving a speech without notes.
Yeah.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So I already said earlier that I am not a public speaker. In fact, if people watch the video, they're probably going to say two things. There's a little peanut butter from the sandwich of lunch on my shirt. I just saw it on the video. And two, I get a little bit red. I get a little bit nervous because I have to have some notes typically, but you do it without notes.
Yep.
So how do you, please go back to that. How do you stay on track? How do you do your speech without notes?
Well, you only trust God for that reason, honestly. But I prepare my notes. Maybe when I do a speech, I'll prepare for maybe about 20%. But I'll let the other 30% or whatever percentage that is, I'll let God take over. Because I don't like writing stuff down and kind of doing it as a script. I like doing it spontaneously, because I feel like people relate to it more than if I wrote everything down and what I was going to say. I'll be focusing on memorizing it and not reading my audience.
Okay, so let's go. I got you off track a little bit, but I want to be sure and pull that out because that's a gift. That's a skill set to be able to do that. And so you said you were going to go into public speaking now. So,
Yep.
so tell me, what's your favorite moment when you're public speaking?
Uh, my favorite moment is talking to the fifth graders and fourth graders and third graders. Basically, the younger they are, besides, 1, 2, and all that stuff, if they are old enough to be cognitive and, you know, as inspirational questions and don't care, that's my age group I like, talking to, because a lot of people and a lot of adults especially, I have this issue with them. Well, not issue, but I can see that they want to ask me like a very important question, like how do I use the bathroom? How do I, deal with, I don't know, being this, well, not included. I was trying to think of another word, but I can't think of one right now. I don't know what I do with not being included, misvalued. Because, look, in y'all might see this on the camera as well. As many of y'all may notice, I'm looking up like 90% of the time. And part of that is due to my cerebral palsy condition. Because right now I'm in exterior tone, which is, flexing out. Interior is flexing in. So when I'm talking to somebody one-on-one, it's fine. But when I'm like in public speaking mode, I'm so focused on my voice and my projection. Like my body doesn't worry about like how do I look, because I gotta think of every little detail. Otherwise, it's it doesn't come out as clear as I want it to.
Okay, so you said that that age group's your favorite. So we're going to come back to the age group, but first I'm going to ask you about the questions that people in that age group ask you. How do you deal with that? How do we educate people on one? Excuse me for being so direct. One, don't ask dumb questions that you don't need to really know about. I mean, they should not ask certain questions that they should know. But what about the ones? How do you educate people to say, if you have a question, just ask? Is that what you do?
Yeah, and I get it. Some people ask, dumb questions, but I use that word dumb very carefully, because they might think it's dumb and not even ask the question because they're like, he's not gonna want to answer this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I use the word dumb very carefully, because the difference between me and a lot of people is because I'm an open book. So it was funny when I did the speech like last week. The kids were asking the teachers before they were asking me, because they were unsure. Like, is this an appropriate question? Is this, And as time went along, they noticed that I didn't mind answering anything. Like, of course, I gave the appropriate, answers to their age group, but like, I got asked how did I use the bathroom, and I just said I can carry a portable, basically toilet around with me, and that's how I use the bathroom. I didn't go into any other detail besides that, because at that age, they can't grasp it yet. Now, when they get to middle school and stuff, then they can figure it out. But when they're that age, it's like you gotta have a little bit of playing imagination along with them when they ask those type of questions. Because, if you go into X, Y, and Z, then their parent might be mad at you for going to X, Y, and Z instead of having the imagination that you think they might have.
So you just educated me some there. So I come out with a statement of saying, why would people ask a dumb question? And really, it's just a lack of education. It's a lack of understanding. It's not dumb or not dumb. It's just a lack of understanding. And as I heard you say, so when people ask a question, then you explain the question the most appropriate way. And then you said something about imagination with the kids. Can you think of an example how they ask you a question and then you answered? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Okay.
But so that age group is your favorite age group.
Yeah.
So go into and why and some examples of why it's your favorite age group.
Okay. So one of the reasons why it's my favorite age group, because they're not scared to ask the question. They're not scared to ask the question.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you get what's your favorite. Who do you like more, Batman or Superman? Of course, you get those kind of questions. But like, they were asking how you play games. I don't know. I didn't plan on sharing this from one class, but one of the teachers brought it up, so I kind of like shared it with this one group. Because I did scare wins for 3 years or so, and I did scare wins, not for typical scaring, and although I love that type of it, but somebody asked me, well, why did you choose the makeup that you did? Why, when you did scare wins? I'm like, well, because basically what I tried to do every night is I tried to put something on my face because Halloween. It's Halloween season, so why not bring this up? I put something on my face to represent something. And, like, I would put red to represent misrepresentation or violence. I would put black for overlook. And a lot of times I would do teeth under my lip to represent uniqueness and people that go through teeth surgery and all that stuff. And then I would put eyes on my eyelids to represent the future. Because what I liked about Scare One so much was because people didn't focus on my wheelchair. It took them a second glance to figure out who just scared me, and like, man, that is so cool. Because when you cover up your appearance because you're not confident in yourself, but when you realize people do care about my condition, they do care about the way I feel, the way I, if I talk funny, they care about what I'm saying. See, me painting my face and kind of bringing out my alter ego kind of levels the playing field that I wish society would bring to the world. And it kind of reminds me that I am the educator, that they might feel like this might be the only time I can ask this question, because I try to get them before their parents, have them talk where they, when the child asks, like, what's that? Talking about my wheelchair more time than not, the parent hurries them along, and they they're like, I'm so sorry. When really, you should do the opposite of that. You should go up to them, ask them, hey, my son was worrying about your wheelchair, or if you got a question, go up to somebody with a disability. I know this is hard, but try not to go up to the one next to them. Try to talk to them directly. And if you feel like you're not getting the answer you want with them directly, then talk to the one next to them or talk to the one helping them out.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to that point. But first of all, you kind of left me hanging. Do you like Batman or Superman? Who's your favorite? Come on. You said they asked the question, but is it Batman or Superman? I have to know.
It's Batman for me.
How come?
Well, because in the in the shadows and in the darkness, that's where your light shines the most. If you're vulnerable, if you're vulnerable with people, people are usually vulnerable with you back. And it's finding that well balance of being vulnerable with somebody you trust and vulnerable with the audience. Like you don't want to give too much of your problems away for them to, you know, for them to lose focus on what you're trying to talk about or prove a point. But it's always that balance. You want to be vulnerable enough where it's relatable, but you don't want to be like a robot being like do da DT and all that stuff. So I always try to be like being vulnerable is showing your personality a little bit, and that's something I don't mind sharing. Granted, it was scary at first, but now that I got used to it, it's like a piece of cake. So yeah.
I know I took you on a sidetrack, but I was curious. And a point you made there, because the new Batman movie's out, and I've got it saved, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it because Batman's kind of gotten a little dark. It has this darkness to it, and now I'm going to watch it because what I heard you say is, in the darkness is where the light shines the brightest. Did I just say it the way you did? I'm trying. Did I say it?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yes, that was perfect. So Batman's your favorite because I'm repeating it because it's something we all need to hear, man.
Yeah.
In the darkness, the light shines the brightest.
Yep.
I know I took you off track a bit, but I also want to go back to where it was before I asked that sideways question because you had me curious. So you say that if somebody has a question, like they see at Scarewinds, right? And if somebody has a question, rather than ask the person you're with, the best thing to do is rather than walk around or go another direction or look, just walk right up and ask the question, not the person next to you.
Yeah. And not everybody's gonna be like me and like be open and all that stuff, but like you don't know until you ask. And I deal with people asking the other person instead of asking me. When they're like, when obviously you can see that I'm fully capable, because more than likely I'm telling not to be rude in any type of way, but I'm telling them how to solve the problem, them what to do, and them I'm telling the person helping me what to do so they can help me get to where I need to go at a faster pace sometimes. And still when people see that, what do they go to? They go to the person next to me, and like I always tell people, I know it's hard, good, you're talking about age, and people don't look like their age sometimes. Try to talk to the person with the disability first before you talk to the one that's helping them or their mom more times than not. That's another misconception I deal with. A lot of times that somebody's helping me, they assume that they're my mom or my grandma, and I'm like, no, that's not the case for me. That may be for somebody else, but that's not the case for me. I have a lot of people helping me out, and I know why a lot of people choose, assume that, and that's understandable, because not a lot of them can afford the help that they need with, with the person's disability, and sometimes we do feel that as a disability community. I mean, I struggled with feeling like I was a burden for several years. I mean, like we all go through that phase of like I'm a burden. Like people had to make sacrifices because of me, and it's like no, the reason we have to make adaptation is because the world was not made for people with disabilities, not yet, and it's up to able-bodied people. It's up to disability people to find out the scenarios and limitations that disability face today. Even with the ADA, it's not all fixed. I mean, one quick story, and I shared. You'll hear me reshare my other speech video if you come and watch it. But one time, where my dad lives, I wanted to go to this restaurant, but they had no way to get in, and my stepmom asked if they had a portable ramp. And they did not. You know what they told me and my family?
No.
The city won't let us have a portable ramp so we can get in. Yep.
You have to explain that. I don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
One, is that okay, I'm not going to use the word dumb or uneducated. Maybe. Is that an answer that's uneducated, or is it?
No,
what's
to me, sorry to cut you off, but to me,
okay.
it's like, it's basically people are trying to find an easy way out. Instead of, you know, or the, you know, and that's why people with disabilities gotta fight for these things, because first somebody told me, yeah, we want to carry one, but the city won't let us. I'm like, how stupid do you think that is? Because, you know, and for all the business owners and all that stuff, yeah, I know you have older buildings, but you can at least, you know, have something for wheelchairs you get onto. And you'll find this too. If you have something for people with disabilities get into your stores, you're gonna have more business. You're gonna have more business.
Yes.
And a point to back that up, I was in. We were going to the beach, and same scenario. The restaurant that I wanted to eat at didn't have ramp, but the other restaurant next door did. So I was able to use the other restaurant's, ramp to get inside and eat my dinner at the time, and still enjoy it with my family, and that didn't ruin the trip. So it's like it can be done just because somebody says, "Oh, this is the community won't let us." I'm like, that's weird, because you can put a lawsuit against them. So it's like, And another example, I won't use this person's name, but a friend of mine, one of her family members got wrongly fired from a restaurant because they said he couldn't do any of the activities that a normal human being can do. When he was working there for over 25 years. 25 years he was working there before he got wrongly fired.
Oh, no.
And all that stuff. I'm gladly to report that the community made such a ruckus that they hired him on Monday. See, it takes us advocating for ourselves, but also we need the community advocating for us as well. Because a lot of times we are overlooked. Just a sneak peek. I am doing another speaking engagement. By the time this might go up, it might be there, but I'm doing another speaking engagement, and I'm talking about being overlooked. That's the title of my message. So I'll probably use some of the examples that I just used here, but yeah.
I want to come back to that one. I also want people that are watching or hearing us, if you happen to see Barrett and I out at Carowinds together. And Barrett, let me ask you this. So you graduated what number in your class in high school?
20.
I graduated about 200 and something. So don't ask me the question. Ask Barrett. Any question that you're going to ask Barrett. Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Your best answer is going to come from Barrett, not from me. So ask him that question. So well done, though, man.
Sadly, I'm not working Sherwood this year, but I will gladly answer any of those questions. I do have people helping me out on emails and that kind of thing. And trust me, when I say you're hearing from me, you're hearing from me. I might not be the one typing it, but I'm the one responding to you in an email. And not somebody responding for me, trying to be me. It's me responding to you. So yeah, I will gladly answer any of your questions you may have. So
Okay, I'm also going to talk about that. When I say soul-minded business on this podcast, it means doing business a certain way, and that is unique these days. If you, I want to hang on what he said. Him answering his own emails instead of having somebody pass them off or having an automated response. I understand sometimes automated responses, if it's saying, give me a little bit longer to answer because I'm on vacation or something like that. But listen to what he just said. If you email him directly, he will be the one responding to the messages. That's a best-in-class business practice.
Even though I might not be the one typing it, because obviously y'all can see I cannot type, but I'm the one dictating to the person what to send out to y'all. So y'all are getting me, y'all not getting somebody else trying to be me and trying to help me out. It's me responding to the emails. It's me responding to the Facebook posts, the Instagram posts. I will, as of right now, my comments on YouTube are off for a good reason, because I wanted to give people a representation of who I am before I deal with the negative comments and all that stuff. I know a lot are going to be, positive, inspiring, and all that stuff, but I want people to see who I am before I let them comment. So yes, there is going to be the first couple of videos where comments are going to be off.
Okay.
For that reason. Because I want you to get used to me before you comment and say why do you do this? You're faking this. Because I am not. Okay, how can you fake being in a wheelchair, being strapped up, having, how can you fake something like that? That's what people accuse me of, and I'm like, really? How can you fake it?
Is people actually ask that or make that statement?
Behind my back. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Behind my back. Yep. Behind my back.
Which kind of almost goes in another thing I want to ask you about is some difficulties that you believe people assume, right, about people, individuals with disabilities. Like that. Is that an assumption? Is that, I don't understand why someone would ask that question, but what are kind of other obstacles or issues that you face?
Oh, let me give you this one. A lot of people assume that you want to talk about your condition only. That's all you want to talk about. And I had not to call anybody out in any way. But in one of my speeches, the person didn't even read the bio. And by bio, for those who don't know, that's the introduction you give to somebody to introduce you before you speak to the audience you were there to speak to. So this person didn't even read my bio. I wasn't planning on talking about my cerebral palsy, and he just flat out doesn't even read the whole bio. He's like, Barrett's got cerebral palsy. I don't want to steal his thunder. I'm gonna let him talk about it. And like, didn't ask me if that was okay or nothing, or is this, yeah. So not every time I gotta send my bio, I gotta say, just because it says I got cerebral palsy in my bio doesn't mean I'm gonna talk about it. Cause I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to educate people on disability, not cerebral palsy. Yes, cerebral palsy is a disability, but not the entirety of my life is not going to be about cerebral palsy. I mean, that really made me mad, and I did forgive the person that done that, because he didn't know, maybe, and it might have a busy day or something. I give people the benefit of that, but still, it's like, really, I send you the bio and you don't even, yeah.
It's not only do you live what you speak. Okay, so we're 30 minutes in. Seems to me like it's been 2 minutes in. We're 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
That's the first mention. That's the first time you've mentioned anything about your disability. That's the first time. That's the first time.
Yeah.
It's to people listening and watching. It has been. I'm going to summarize, and I want you to correct me. Okay. I gave Barrett the permission before we talked. I said, if I say something that's not appropriate, call me out. Call me out on it, right?
Okay.
But the conversation so far has been about issues that you have faced, but you always put it in the context of others.
Yep.
And this is the first time that you mentioned your individual issue that you're facing. Other till that, it was about here's what a particular group faces. That is, so not only are you saying this, you're actually living it.
Yeah.
Right? And wow. Okay, so I want to bounce back a little bit because this is cool. So I don't want to steal your thunder on your next speech or your presentation, but you said the next one's going to be called Being Overlooked.
Yep.
Can you give us some high points on that one? If you tell me, it's okay if you tell me no, you're going to have a big rollout. That's okay.
I'll give you a sneak peek. So, for audience context, this is from a woman's brunch, and a lot of women, as well as disability, get overlooked and especially underappreciated by men. What I mean by that, because I know I'm treading water when I say that. What I mean by that is a lot of people don't realize what women do or go through on a day-to-day life, and they don't realize they're not there anymore, or till the person got to do that on their own. It's not just husband and wife that I'm focusing on here. It's people in general, because people in general like do something, and people get so used to it that they don't even consider it a skill until they got to do it themselves. So, which is kind of grateful in some ways, but also tiring in other ways. And I know I'm stealing Pastor Stephen Freddy's phrase, but my goal is to do such a good job that people don't focus on me and the human aspect, like they focus on what the Holy Spirit tells them, through my speech, even though I can't physically talk about God and talk about religion sometimes. That's my goal every time I go speak. That's my goal. Like, my goal is not to harp on my disability, not to harp on my accomplishments, my obstacles. My goal is to inspire people and kind of expose Jesus and God in a lot of ways, because I am a Christian, and, I know y'all can't see the whole shirt, but it's like, live strong, live, live with swag, and live for, live a swaggy life for Jesus. That's my first shirt that I created. So it's like, and I will be selling it when I get all the paperwork done. But that's another conversation for another day. So, in this talk, I'm like, what does society not think about that? That as people, and I mean as a whole, don't appreciate it. And a lot of times, people don't realize what women had to go through just to have the same opportunities as men. Guess what? It's the same thing for disability. So it's kind of like bringing that related path. Like, I know you're struggling, but I am struggling too.
No, yeah. Oh, I thought you were struggling about, I have this look on my face like I'm trying to sort it out. But you know what you said when I'm listening to you speak, when you immediately said the things that women go through when they're by themselves and being overlooked, my first thought was, my wife's at home by herself. What am I overlooking that I should not be overlooking? See, the message goes beyond any kind of barriers. The message is based on truth. And when you said that, what are we overlooking that we should not be overlooking? Immediate thought was, oh no. What am I overlooking that I should not? It went beyond any kind of, yeah. So that if you look at my face going, I'm starting to tick off the things in my mind. What can I be overlooking? What am I? And I am. But it's the message that's based on truth is what you're sharing.
Yeah. And it's not for like a husband and wife scenario. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be a guy. It could be a girl. It could be like a whole family. During this war crisis and Ukraine and all that stuff, that's when people show the kindness of the news only in tragedy. More time than not. And the way the world perceives tragedy is, crazy. Not crazy because of what scenario, because that is tragedy. But a lot of times, the news and the media considers disability tragedy in Hollywood. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just you're paving the way for when people get older and have a broken hip, broken knee. We all have a disability at some point. And a lot of older generation use the word disabled, and I'm like, you're not disabled. You just have another ability you gotta conquer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
It's just too good. I'm just going to let that sink in. Can you repeat it? Can you say it again?
A lot of older people call disability disabled, and not really being disabled is having another obstacle and another ability that you're gonna have to overcome and conquer.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. What is something that, well, I was going to say hope to accomplish in the future, but maybe I'll leave hope out of that. What is something you're going to accomplish in the future?
Well, what I'm hoping to accomplish in the future is one, share Christ in everything I do. 'Cause that's my, ultimate goal. But two, try to create an easier path for somebody with a disability like mine, or not even like mine, just somebody with a disability, and trying to make it easier for them. And I'll tell you what I do almost every day
and I watch disability creators on YouTube. I'm a YouTuber as well, but I watch, you know, whether they may be blind, have another, disability, maybe in a wheelchair, maybe had a tragic accident, and I had to go through depression and all that stuff, but it kind of motivates me that they're bringing a positive outlook to disability. And yes, a lot of times I get asked, "Do you still want to be old if God knows you today?" Yes, I would. I would like to, but I know God has put me into this scenario for a reason, and I hope I can motivate and inspire, not in the oh, poor me, I got a disability sense, but inspire and like, okay, I got a disability, I'm not gonna let it stop me. And I know we gotta wrap it up, Stan.
No. You keep reason. Let me explain to everyone watching and listening why, if they're watching, why I moved in my chair. There are certain times that people say things that I cannot ask another question based on that. I cannot. That was. It's almost like when you say there's a mic drop. You hear that mic drop, or there's landing of the plane. What you said was, I'm just going, that is so inspirational and onto the truth that I can't.
Yep. And
We just need to. Anything I say is going to take away from what you just said.
well, I can keep going on that point. I know it's not really on that point, but due to Hollywood and all the things, a lot of people that play, a person that has a disability character in Hollywood, they're not really, they don't have a disability for real, so all they gotta go off is statistics. And because Hollywood do not want to have accommodate people with disabilities, it's a very challenging time for disability actors that have a breakthrough in Hollywood because they have a misinterpretation, or the producer doesn't want to deal with the accommodation that the person would be good playing the role for. And it's just mind-boggling to me.
Have you we didn't prepare this part, so just have you seen the movie The Sound of Music, Sound of Metal?
No, I have not.
Okay, next time I'm gonna, if that's a movie you end up watching, I would love to know what your take is on the ending of it, because at the very ending of it, he's has an experience, and that's one of those movies like the first discussion I had with you that really just stuck with me, and I keep thinking about why I came visit you again, and hope we remain pals. I sure hope so. I'm going to try to remain pals with you. I know you're going to be busy, but at the end of that movie, it's one that left me with, I think I know what it's saying, but I'm not sure. So anyway, the sound of metal is an interesting, and it kind of goes along the lines of what you just described, which, because there's almost a misinterpretation of how it. Can you think? Do you mind, without? I don't want to put you on the spot about the movie name, but can you give us an example of maybe a part of a movie where they say maybe the intentions were to get it right, but they got it wrong?
Well, I can't really do that because, but I try not to harp on that way too much, and let alone I do not watch a lot of movies with disability in them for that reason, because Hollywood just screws it all up, and like all they go by is statistics. But I will say, the show Speechless, it was on. Ah, God, it was I think it was on CBS. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They had an authentic representation of somebody who had cerebral palsy. They might not, they might not have a severe case as he was letting on, but you could see during the interview that somebody creating that cast,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they had a connection to this disability in the role they were playing, whether that was their sister, cousin, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I give the producer all the credit in the world because I'm like, yes, please. Also, Audible does a great job, doing that as well. I know, there was a audio book that I listened to recently. I can't remember the name now, but it was basically what they had was an autistic person do the autistic character, which was the main character. And I gave credit to the author again because she did her research. She asked all kind of people with the same condition because not everybody's the same. And she took that in the book and kind of like put that disability in as the front with the tapping, the fidgeting, that people don't realize it was funny when I watched the like the interview with the author and like the voice of a person. The only thing that they asked her there the to elaborate on was when they would fidget or like do something that would make them feel more comfortable when they're stressed out. Because she was like, oh yeah, I forget. Most people don't know what that is. And that's part of that is bridging the gap.
Mm.
You know, showing that people with disabilities have a valuable story. Another one that, Audible did a great job was a person called Molly Burke. And I do watch her on YouTube. They let her do an audio, story. Yes, she's blind. Yes, she does all that stuff. But she also did the PDF for people that, can hear and, could read what the story's about. See, when you being inclusive and open-minded to certain things, just like they talk about, a lot of people in the community talk about open, I forget what they call it now, but it's basically having open floor plan for the person when they have issue or when they're in a wheelchair. And that to me is where instruction needs to shift. Businesses need help on what do we need to do to hire people with disabilities, because a lot of businesses get accused of being discriminatory when they don't know what to do with with the platform they got. It's all about training people and educating people. Back to my first point, because when we educate and train people, who knows, they might be the one to change the world.
Oh, I keep I keep writing.
For words, eh?
What's that?
A lot for words, eh?
I keep writing notes down here. I flipped the page. I mean, I know I can listen to the recording, but I keep flipping notes because you just keep encircling things. One thing I heard was not everyone's the same. You would think that we would know that, but sometimes we make assumptions based on bridge. And then here's a big one that just keeps showing up. And then I'm going to ask really just a couple more questions because I want to be very aware of your time. But one thing you keep saying is, which is the truth that's often hidden. And because rather than hearing you, so I ask you about the movies, and you don't watch many, and you know what your answer was is just because, well, they might get the story wrong. So rather than watch with the attempt to be angry about something you just didn't watch, with the assumption that there's a lack of understanding, and you didn't put anything that was judgmental in the way you said that. And then you just said something about businesses. And the only reason you dropped the mic on me again, you just actually hit it. But I want to make sure that people are listening to this. You said it, and I can't repeat it. I can't just say it back as well as you did. You're the professional speaker. I'm just the listener, right? But
kind of remind me what I said, then I can say what I said.
It came back with, you weren't being critical. It was a matter of education. Businesses need help understanding what they should be doing or the value of what they're doing. This is where I'm not saying it well, but your statement was the same thing that you've been saying throughout this entire episode was, it's a matter of education.
Yep.
Not being judgmental. It's a matter of education. But what you're doing is you're hitting both sides of it. You had every right to say, but yet they're not doing this correctly, and look what you're just saying, it's just a matter of education.
And I don't know, I'm kind of defending both sides because it is. I mean, it's a job for the company or the owner to listen to somebody that's complaining, but it's also our job to be like, okay, as the owner of the company, I mean, like, okay, I hear you. Can you help me try to figure out a way to fix the issue and make it better? And I don't mean that like, oh, can I get a free sub? Can I get a free this? Can I get a free that? It's like, after we complain about something, it's our job to help them find a better solution so we don't have to go in like this big circle of society. People with disabilities saying they're being discriminatory, they're missing the point, and when, not a lot of the time, but sometimes, it's just, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to start, and that's what I feel like that's what we were put on this earth as disability people to do, and that's just me. But, and again, a lot of people don't listen to us, so I value every time I get to do something like this or speak. I know I can die tomorrow, and I know that's a little dramatic, but it's true. Every day is not promised. The Bible says that. Live every day with a purpose. Live every day. Thankful that you're alive. Thankful that you're this. Thankful that you're that. Because it's true. All can be thrown away tomorrow. So I try to live my life with intent and purpose.
Seems to me like this is a good time to almost wrap it up. That's beautiful. So I had one more question for you, and can I ask it and then answer it, and then you tell me if I'm right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I got to take a second for that last answer to sink in. Okay. So my last question was, what is your ideal audience? You know who I think your ideal audience is? Everybody that will listen. Everybody that will listen. Is that?
Yep. That one listen. Yeah.
It just so happens. When I wrote that down, I was going to guess, well, I think the ideal audiences are the kids. It's not necessarily. It's the people that will ask the questions with an open heart and open mind that will ask the questions.
And I feel like if we have more open mind in this world, we'll go a lot farther than we are right now.
Yeah. So, Barrett, what is the best way for people listening and watching to get in touch with you?
Obviously by email, and I'll have you put this in the description box on my YouTube, and I'll say it, and then I'll let you do what you gotta do.
Okay.
But it's Barrett Counterman at Gmail. Well, no, I'm lying. It's Barrett dot, but with one T instead of two T. T is like it was my name. Barrett dot Swaggy life at gmail.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Also, Facebook. And this is when it gets really tricky. Because only my business email has one T in it. Everything else is the same. So it's Barrett's with two T's and two R's. Swaggy Life. And if you type that on Facebook, you'll see my logo with the shirt that I have on now, and I'll have, I'll send you the copy of my logo so they can find it directly. But that's another way you can reach me. Also, I do have an Instagram page. Same thing. It's Barrett's dot life. Yeah, Barrett dot Swaggy and then life, and then there you go.
Well, I'll tell you, you just changed the direction of this podcast, my man. So you guys listen to this. So we're going to now start adding the transcription of all our shows onto the podcast. I'm listening to him speak, and I'm going, okay, you can hear him speak, you can see him speak. You need to read what he's saying as well. So what we're going to do is in the where you're seeing it on YouTube for Circle the Panda or on the website Circle the Panda, what he just described on how you get in touch with him will be links in the show notes, which I will make absolutely sure that the links work that direction. But there will be links in the show notes to how they get in touch with you. There's also going to be a transcription that what it'll force me to do is edit my own work, because sometimes I'm just not too good at details, but you'll see a transcription of what we discussed in the show notes of this podcast and on YouTube as well. And in there will be the links that they can just click on, and then they can get to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Barrett, I'm done asking. I've riddled you with questions and all these kind of things. And is there anything that you'd like to end on?
Well, I always tell people this, and I don't in every public speaking engagement or anything with this, except for my videos, because it's true. Always live strong, live free. And if you live with swag, the confidence will be there. That's why my company name is Barrett's Swaggy Life, because I don't see that as a simple catchphrase. I try to, and I do struggle with self-confidence, but I try to give people what I strive to be. And what I strive to be is confident in myself and confident that God will carry me through. That's why my business name and my logo and all that stuff is centered around God, but it's not just me talking about church. I'm hoping, like y'all realize today, maybe you will listen to somebody that, might sound different with a higher voice or with a lower voice. And maybe hear what they have to say, because I'm just one person and one body speaking about one scenario. You know, I can't cover all scenarios because I'm not God, and I can't be like, boom, you got this, you deal with this every day. We all have our challenges, and trust me, your life is worth living, and I hope you don't see that just because of my disability. You see that from what I've done and how humble I am, and the way I live my life in general, not because of my condition.
Barrett, thank you. Again, if I try to add to that ending, all I'm going to do is run the risk of besting. I'm incredibly grateful that you would spend the time with me, and I know it's going to add great value. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me also.
Yes, sir.